Hey, what up, guys? It's me again. And welcome to the This Is My Moment podcast. And here at This Is My Moment, man, we love having a good time. We love laughing. And lately, I've been loving to meet new people. Man, let's go get it.
There ain't no stopping it. This is my moment. Join the movement. We bringing people together, bringing positivity, making changes for the better.
Today, I got a Texan on the line with me. I want to see how that is. I want to see what he got for the family. Introduce yourself to the family.
Howdy, Kyle Gabhart, native Texan, born and raised.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, everything is bigger in Texas. And along those lines, I have 6 kids and 1 grandkid.
How's it being a granddad, man?
It is surreal. I'll be 44 in February, so the idea of being a grandfather is kind of wacky.
Yeah.
It makes me a young granddad, so I've still got plenty of energy. And I figured out just the other day, he could be in junior high at the gym, and I'm still young enough that I can spot him at the gym. And so the idea of granddad spotting you, that is just pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
I like the sound of that, man. I just turned 45, man, and my kids is like, Dad, we're not having kids. We don't want So I think I'm gonna be about 70 or 80, brother. So enjoy it, man. When I read that, I was like, oh, I bet he having a good time with that. I'm looking you up, right, Kyle, man, and I'm like, man, this cat wrote this book, right? And I'm like, man, it resonates with me. I retired at 40. Right? I retired. It says 40, from 40 to 45, man, I had 7 jobs. Like, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want it to be. So I'm reading, right? And it's called Legends Don't Retire, Neither Should You. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're spot on. That's it.
Man, what is that? And tell me why I think I love it.
Yeah, I'll tell you. There is, I think, a broken concept that we have in America.
Yeah.
And it's this notion that retirement, first of all, is something that we should aspire towards, which I don't think we should.
Yeah.
And second, that's just even if it was something that was good to pursue, my argument would be that the problem is that what most people then do is put their nose to the grindstone, work their tail off for 30, 40 years, and then look up and realize, oh, I don't know who my spouse is anymore. I don't know who my kids are anymore. I don't even know who I am because my identity was wrapped up with that job. And so that's problematic. Not to mention the fact that even in the Garden of Eden, they were given jobs to do. So even in paradise, you were supposed to go do work. Why do you think you're special or any different that you shouldn't have a purpose and a job to go do?
All right. Brother, I was talking the other day, man, and I was like, retirement, man, to me, takes away longevity from your life. When you have a purpose and a reason to get up, brother, you adding years to your life.
Absolutely.
And I hear it, man, and I hate to hear it, but I hear it. Is you hear what people retire 3 or 4 years later, what's happening? They pass away because they don't have a reason to get up no more.
Correct.
And I think that don't die, right? Or don't retire, neither should you. I love the fact that, you know what? You don't have to do exactly what you used to do. Now you can do something that you love to do, right? You retired, so you have that income, right? And income is always good. Let's just get that out there. So, so you got this income, but now what you can do in your latter years is what you love to do. Do you?
That's it.
What you think about longevity and retirement? How that look over there?
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of it does come down to a mindset. And so for what it's worth, and I actually ask my clients this on a pretty routine basis, I ask people what age they plan on dying. And I always get a really weird look on that one.
Like me.
I'm quick to tell them that I'm aiming for 107.
Ooh.
And they normally like go, what? That's crazy. What are you talking? 107? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I ask them, Imagine if you know where the finish line is.
Yeah.
How how does that change your mindset? How does that change what you are doing?
Mm.
Right? Like if you know that you're about to be there, you're about to cross that line, you might take your foot off the gas, you might coast. Like if I've only got a couple of years left, why am I not eating every donut I can? Because I don't have to take care of this temple because I've only got a couple of years left. Right. And why am I bothering wasting time at the gym if I've only got a couple of years left on the clock? So I might as well just phone it in. Versus if you're in your 80s and you're like, goodness, I got to keep this thing together for another 25 years.
Yeah.
You think differently, you make different choices because you're looking at a longer lens and a longer time frame than other people who are in their 80s.
I like that. I like that. Man, say man. You motivate people, right? You giving it. So who does the motivator go to get motivated?
Yeah, I love that. So, Patrick, there's a lot of sources I go to for my own motivation. Some of it I go back to wisdom that my father passed on to me years ago.
Yeah.
And I just reflect on that. A lot of it I get from quiet time in the morning, a combination of journaling and prayer and studying scripture.
Yeah.
And then I'm a firm believer that at all points in life, you need to have one or more people that are mentoring you. You need to have one or more people that you're doing life with as peers that can serve as a sounding board. And then you need to have one or more people that you are mentoring. And so reaching ahead and taking from those that have guidance and insight, having those people that you do life with and bounce things off of, but then also pouring back into that next generation. And so I just aim to have all of those elements going in my life at all times. And I derive a lot of motivation from that.
Wow. That's solid. That's solid. And I talk about that too, just having a circle around me that helps me stay focused, right? And I laugh when I tell people this because a lot of people you have people in your circle that tell you no, or you tell people like you don't have people in there that just agrees with everything. Like, nah, like if you agree with everything that I'm saying, you're not helping me.
Yep.
Not helping me. And I told the story the other day when I was a basketball coach, right? I used to call the plays. I called my plays, and every play was a good play. I didn't have no assistant coach. Everything I did was perfect. Everything it looked good. I ran it. It's perfect. And then the moment I got an assistant coach, all of a sudden I became better as a person.
Sure.
Now I had somebody in my life that was like, you know what? Nope. Right? And then once we sat down, just like you said, you're getting it from your dad, and then you're able to pass it down. And that's what that was, man. They were giving me this knowledge, right, that I didn't have when it was just Patrick. And
Sure.
Now that I had that person inside of my life, I'm like, hey, man, it do sound better like this. It does look better. I am able to go further. I am making these other people better because now I have that coming over there, man. Okay.
Iron sharpens iron, so one sharpens another.
Yes, sir. Do you have a happy place?
A happy place.
What's your happy place? Like for me, right? I'm a griller. I'm Texan, right? I'm going outside and I got the grill going, right? I'm a wood guy. I like wood. So I got my wood on, right? My pecan wood with my steak and my ribs, right? That's my happy place. What do you go to?
Yeah, so mine is very similar. I've got a room of the house, my absolute favorite room. It is a mostly outdoor room. So it's got 3 walls.
Okay.
It's a covered patio, essentially, but the house kind of wraps itself around it.
Mm.
The area that's open is open to the backyard, it's open to the pool, and it's southward facing, which is, as a Texan, it's key that it's not western facing, right? You never get that brutal sun from the west.
Not that direct heat.
It's got a wood burning fireplace out there. It's got a fan, so it's pretty much usable year round. That's my favorite room of the house.
You got a TV out there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go Cowboys.
Man, I'm gonna say y'all doing pretty good. I'm a Houston Texans fan, so I can't really talk about anybody's team, right? I ride with the Texans, man. But I tell you what, Them Cowboys looking real good, brother.
They are indeed. True
Looking,
story.
looking real. You know what's funny? I'm gonna get off subject just a little bit. When Dak went down, right? I was laughing because Rush, man, he came in and he held the fort together.
Yeah,
He
he
held
did.
it down pretty good, right? To that guy. And I was laughing and I said, you know what? If he beats the Philadelphia Eagles, Jerry might have a different conversation.
I know it.
That conversation may be a little bit different. Dak, y'all, you still injured, right? No, you still hurt, right? Like,
Yeah. Stay back.
so yeah, man, I'm watching them, man. So you talk a lot about legacy.
Yes, sir.
What do you believe is the biggest misconception that people have when it comes to leaving a legacy?
I think it's actually right there in that phrase. When I ask people what a legacy is, and I ask it a lot,
Yeah.
by far, Patrick, the most common thing I hear is they'll say, well, it's something you leave behind.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest conception, is the notion of leaving a legacy. Because the problem with that is that if a legacy is something you leave, then as you walk out the door, you kind of toss it over your shoulder and you hope that somebody's there to catch it.
Yeah.
And you hope that when they catch it, they're going to steward it well and know what they have to do with it.
Yeah.
And instead of leaving a legacy, people need to focus on living a legacy. Because when you live a legacy, then you can influence it. Then you pass on your values, your priorities, your ideals, and you can see that next generation and how they begin to steward it. And if they're misinterpreting what you intended, you can start coaching and mentoring them actively, and you become a living, breathing part of that legacy rather than just throwing it over your shoulder on the way out the door and hoping that they know what to do with it.
And you know, like I know, hope is not a game plan.
No, sir.
And you know, for years, right? I always thought like the legacy was exactly that, like what I left to my kids, like my 401ks, my death benefits, my house, right? My stocks, all that stuff was my legacy. Then I started to think, you know what? The money they can spend, the money they can misuse, but what people can't leave or they can't lose is what I give them.
That's right.
And if I can reach two people, and those two people reach two people, and it's spelled out the way that I like it, then that's when you start seeing your legacy grow, man. And it took me years to realize that it wasn't financial.
Yeah.
It wasn't financial. And the money is cool. Don't get me wrong. Like my kids like, Dad, how much you leaving me? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, you know what? What did I teach you?
Yes, sir.
What are you able to give other people to remember your dad?
That's right. So I'll give you one for free. I'm not even going to charge you for this one.
I appreciate that because I'm kind of low on money right now. It's Christmas time.
So here's a practical way that I do that right now, which is at the dinner table every night, we go big. And I literally start with just one of the people at the table and I say, go big. And then we take turns. And you're like, Kyle, what is big? Great question. Stands for begin in gratitude. And so we start our dinner off with what's something you're grateful for. And I'll tell you, initially, especially with the kids, they'll give you something kind of trite. They'll be like, I'm thankful for the dog. I'm thankful for the house. I'm thankful for mom's great cooking. That's fine. You can put out whatever you want, but you don't get to use the same thing twice. So you can be thankful for the dog once. You can be thankful for your Xbox once. You can be thankful for dinner once. But then you start getting creative and you got to really start thinking deeply about what you are truly grateful for. And because they know I'm going to ask them at dinner every night, then they start thinking about it during the day.
Yes.
And so now the concept of gratitude is bleeding into their normal everyday life. Because like, Dad's going to ask, and I know he's going to expect an answer, and he's not going to just throw something out there. I'm going to have to give him a legit answer. Yeah. And now gratitude is on their mind all the time.
Ooh, go big.
Yes, sir.
And you know what's funny, man? Gratitude is something I think people take for granted.
You're right.
And I hate to keep saying this, and I say it over and over again. I think that like for me, that's the world where we're at, right? Everybody just wants something for nothing, right? Everybody, yeah, I use my kids, for example. My kids, when they come visit, they want dad to give them gas money. Like,
Sure.
why should I have to pay you to come visit me? I just don't understand. But the thing is, they're not grateful for the fact that we worked really hard and we provided a means for them to be able to ask, right? And I think that if more people did go big, I think the narrative would change.
You're right.
Just not America, man, around the world, because now you have something to be thankful for. You have some reason to want to give back, man. You own to something, brother.
It's a game changer.
It is, man. And you know what? It also changes your mindset because, like your kids, I don't know how old your kids are, but I'm going to tell you a secret. If you tell them, look, you can only use this one time, now they got to start thinking outside the box because at the end of the day, we're going to eat at least 5 times a week. So I got to at least have 5 good things. And then the next week, I got to have another 10 because he can't say the same thing I said last time.
That's right.
So now all of a sudden, you've changed their mindset.
That's it. That's it.
Ooh. If my kids stayed home, we going big too.
I love it.
I like that, man. I like that. So what do you think is important and one of the main things that people can do to leave their legacy? Like, or not to leave it, but to live it. What's one of the biggest things that you think that people can do to start living their legacy instead of thinking about leaving their legacy?
That's really good. I really appreciate that question. So I think one of the key things that they can do is to start by thinking in terms of how they are using their time on a daily basis or weekly, that matter, right? So we've got time, we've got treasure, we've got talents. And normally when we think about legacy, we immediately think about treasure, our money. And that's good. And how you spend your dollars says a lot about your heart and is an important element of it. But thinking about talent and putting that to work in, local church, in community organizations, nonprofits, what have you, but then also in particular thinking about your time and how you use it is crucial. And so if you do an inventory of how you're spending your time, that'll let you know where your priorities are. Are you investing in your marriage? Are you investing in your kids? Are you investing time into the causes you care about and the organizations you care about? Where you put your time is as strong an indicator as anything if you're making the deposits necessary and building that legacy throughout your life.
Man. And I'm a firm believer in 2 things that you can't get more of. You can't get more space. Whatever's on earth is on earth. Like you're not finna build onto the side like a renovation project. Whatever we have, whatever God gave us is what we got. And I also believe that whatever time is on your books is on your books, right? And you're 44, I'm 45, man. And you got a lot of more summers because you're going to 107. I ain't got too many more. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm running out of summers. And when I started thinking about that, what am I doing with my summers, right? What am I doing with that time to help other people? So going out there, right, and making money is real good, right? And this is recently. So I had a gig, man. I was doing truck moving, right? I had my own trucking business, right? And we were making real good money, right? But I still felt a hole. That makes any sense, right? So we're making money, right? And we're eating, man, and I'm eating good. But I wasn't helping nobody.
Right.
I wasn't doing anything positive with my time except making money. I wasn't giving back. I wasn't helping write the narrative that I wanted to see, right? I was just making money. And when I stopped doing that, right, and I took a job where I had more time to invest in this is my moment, I had more time to start giving back to the community, talking to kids, going to schools. All of a sudden, that hole that I had when I was making money, it wasn't there no more.
I love it.
It wasn't there no more. I wake up and my checks were smaller, but my heart was way bigger.
Yes, sir.
So I'm like, you know what? I think it may be something to this. It may be something to that helping people grow. It may be something to helping people understand that, you know what? Where you at is not where you have to be. We can do this. And when you start running out of sums, you start realizing real quick that look here, we got to get it going.
That's correct.
Man. What gave you the idea to start doing the go big? Or is that something that you just do with your family, or is that something that you do with your clients and your business stuff, man?
Yeah, no, great question. So I got the idea from one of my mentors. So going back to where does the motivator go for motivation? One of my mentors shared the concept with me because he had been doing it in his family, and I was like, "That's genius! I'm going to." So yeah, so just straight up stole it. But then, yes, so I do it in client meetings. I do it in team meetings. So when I meet with my team, we have a Monday morning huddle. We all go big. And then when I do my one-on-ones with them during the week, we will be there as well. So yeah, I'm a firm believer. It just changes the perspective. There's so much pessimism in the world. There's so much negativity, especially in the financial realm, which is where I spend the bulk of my time. It's the primary business that I do. And so, yeah, the negativity is everywhere. And so I'm just trying to change that narrative.
Yeah. And you know what? I believe that you're 100%, man. I believe that negativity is so abundant and it's easily addictive because people like drama, right? People like to see people doing bad. It makes you feel better about yourself, right? Oh, if someone is doing worse than me, then I'm okay. So you're drawing into that negativity. And I laugh because they like, how can you always be so positive? I said, I'm not. But what I don't do, I don't get drawn into negativity, because once I do, you can become addicted to that, right?
Sure.
And then what people don't understand is that being positive, being motivational takes work.
It does.
You have to understand that, you know what? I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be that. So I'm going to work on myself to be the best version of myself that I can be. And a lot of people don't want to work on themselves because you're okay. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right. Nah, you're not all right. You're not all right. And I was telling my daughter this today. I said, you know what? You can't be mediocre and great. You got to choose. You got to choose. And a lot of people are okay with being mediocre because you can have an out. And being negative gives you an out, right? Absolutely. My day's going bad. Oh, woe is me. No, don't nobody care. Yep. Who cares if your day going bad? What if the day's your last day and this is how you spend it?
Right.
You got to be better than that. And that's what we do at This Is My Moment, man. Look, negativity is easy. It's easy because it's everywhere. Positivity, a positive mindset, changing your verbiage, changing the way that you think, that's hard because it takes effort. And then once you get it, you become addicted to it. I become addicted to the positivity. I become addicted to having these conversations, right? Meeting a guy I never met. Now we on here laughing, having a good time, right? And that's what I want the narrative to be. Like, never meet a stranger.
There you go.
A stranger. So I have bad days, and some days I don't go big. If you have a bad day, do you have a quote? And I know you said you go to your Bible, you go to your mentors. Do you have a quote or anything that you go to that re-energizes? God,
sure.
What do you go to, man?
Yeah, you bet. So Stephen Covey's 7 Habits, and one of the 7 habits is to begin with the end in mind. And so for me, it's all about reframing where I'm at to say, well, hold on, what am I aiming for? Yeah. What does the end result look like? And so even if right now, like this day is going poorly, or this aspect of my life isn't going well, it's going to be all right in the end. And if it's not all right, then it's not the end. So I just got to project myself forward to go, look, it's not about what's happening today, right now, this week. It's about where we've set the standard, where we're headed, where we're going long term. And so I just refocus on that goal, on that long-term vision. And in that long-term vision, all of the incremental problems that we had along the way kind of fade to black.
I dig that. I'm going to ask you a question before we get into the fun part.
Okay.
Have you ate dinner already tonight? Have you already ate dinner?
I have not, actually.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask before your kids and your wife here, what's your big today?
That's awesome. I love it. Oh, goodness. So My big today is I'm really grateful for the team that I'm surrounded with. I saw them today pull together in a special kind of way, solving some problems for clients.
Yeah.
And I've really been impressed with and grateful for the way that each of them has stepped up and taken ownership of different parts of how the business operates. So just grateful for being surrounded by great people.
Man, having a good circle is a good feeling.
You bet. How about for you? What are you grateful for today?
For me, it took me a little while too, man, but I'm grateful that I was able to take half a day to come out and prepare. So I usually don't do podcasts on Thursdays. My podcasts are on Wednesday and we knock them out and such. But today we had people wanting to be on the show and we reached out. And I like to research everyone and I like to give everybody their own time. You know what I mean? So when I looked up you, right, and that was me and you. But you didn't know it, but it was me and you, right? And I'm on that, right? And I'm grateful that I can do enough research to where we're doing this and I can meet somebody and I can be like, you know what? I like it. So I'm grateful for having the opportunity to meet people and to let people bring their stories over here and me bring my stories back, because you never know wherever your blessing's going to come from. You never know what you can say, B-I-G. And now, hey, don't laugh. I'm going to use it.
That phrase could become notorious.
I know where you're going. So I like that. Good one. So I know you're from Texas. I know that.
Yes, sir.
So here we go. We're finna have some fun. At the end of the show, I do word association, 2 options, choices, make you think a little bit, bring out the genuineness inside of the convo.
Okay.
Here we go. I know you're from Texas, and you're real close to me, actually. Outside of Texas, you can only live one place. You got to leave Texas. Where you going?
Colorado.
Well, you said that like you already knew the answer.
That's where we visit the most. We love mountains. It's just gorgeous.
It is. Too easy, man. Too easy. As a grandfather, you have one gift to leave your grandbaby. One thing. What are you giving him?
Yeah, so I would give him the Bible that I bought when he was born, that I write in for him periodically. It's not an everyday thing. It's not an every week thing, but just when I feel led, I write him a note, I highlight a verse, and I'm planning to do that throughout his life and give it to him when he graduates high school. So I'd give him that.
Too easy. That's solid. You know what's funny? A lot of people wouldn't went right for the money. You would have went right for some kind of materialistic thing, but when you went to the good book.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Last one. If I give you the phrase, this is my moment. First thing comes to your mind, this is my moment.
Wow. For me, it's a stage. Throughout my life, I've had incredible opportunities to speak to audiences. And it started when I was 17. I was doing full-blown sermons for audience 200. I've spoken to hundreds and thousands in different settings, secular and spiritual. Right. And for me, it's that platform and it's that opportunity to move groups and share with them whatever the message might be to motivate them to improve their lives and do something different. And in a lot of cases, that ends up just being a one-on-one thing like it is right here. But this is my moment to me, is those opportunities to speak into the hearts and lives of others. And I'll absolutely take it if it's just a one-on-one thing. But I know that, where I tend to really thrive is in larger settings.
Yeah. Yeah. Brother, we done.
Awesome. It was a blast.
And I'm going to tell you what, man, my wife, she told me this. She says, it doesn't matter if you have 1,000 people or you have one, you give everything that you got, because all you got to do is touch them.
It's true.
And I want you to keep doing it, man. If it's 1 or if it's 1,000, man, keep doing your thing, man. I enjoyed researching you. I enjoyed seeing you. I love what you told me today. Hey, guys, B-I-G, begin in gratitude. B-I-G, begin in gratitude. What are you thankful for? Think about it. and then go get it.
There ain't no stopping it, this is my moment. Join the movement, we bringing people together, bringing positivity, making changes for the better.